I start my speech, I want to thank my mentor Joseph Mahak for introducing me to many of the concepts I will talk about today, and my family for being a great sounding board and pushing me to write this. As Nietzsche said, is man merely a mistake of God's, or God merely a mistake of man? I never really thought the Judeo-Christian God made sense. By Judeo-Christian God, I mean the omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, vengeful, belligerent, spiteful God of the Bible. The biggest problem I have with God and Judeo-Christianity is the concept of blind faith. That anyone or anything is above question is baffling to me. How can I believe in anything without evidence? According to all logic, the burden of proof is not on the person hearing the argument, but the one trying to make it. But those who believe in God would have me believe in Him without any evidence. How can I ignore everything that all of my experiences and lessons in life have taught me? The simple answer is I can't. In addition to the problems I have with blind faith, the idea that God is inherently good does not make sense. According to the Bible, many of the things God has done are contradictory to what He would have us believe make you a good person. A good being would not send plagues and kill the firstborns of an entire population for the faults of one man. Those are my problems with the Judeo-Christian God, but what about a God that doesn't require belief and isn't good or bad? This falls into a larger category than a God, and would better be called a prime mover. Now, what is a prime mover? The prime mover or unmoved mover is a concept postulated by Aristotle that is the primary cause of all motion in the universe. The unmoved mover moves other things, but is in itself unmoved by any prior action. This means that every other cause in the universe eventually leads back to this one, but this one doesn't have a cause. To me, this concept makes a bit more sense than a big man in the sky making all the decisions, but I still have problems with it. The biggest problem I have with the prime mover is also one of the problems I have with God. This is, like I said, the illogical fact that for a prime mover to exist, it can't have a cause. There is one theory that does make logical sense to me. That is Stephen Hawking's and James Harville's theory that there is imaginary time which dictates the state of real time. This allows the universe to be a contained system without the need for some outside force acting on it. Without imaginary time as part of the universe, we have the problem of singularities. A singularity, which is a point of infinite density in space, is needed to create the universe. But a singularity, by definition, also breaks down the laws of physics. The dilemma is that singularities are required for the universe to be made, like in a Big Bang, but they also make the universe not make sense. This paradox is solved by imaginary time. As stated above, imaginary time dictates the state of real time, which allows for a singularity to happen, but fall within the laws of the universe. Though this is an answer to the how of the universe, it still doesn't answer one of the biggest whys. God has more than one purpose. He also gives reason to be moral. So in the case of those who don't believe in God, why are they and how can they be moral? There are two possible factors in morality, either internal or external. On the internal side, humans might have evolved with a sense of altruism because it was better for the survival of the species. It may be a genetic quality that people are born with. On the external side, society and upbringing might have caused you to become moral because it was deemed good, and that is the way you've been taught. Neither internal nor external factors require a God to function, and are both possible causes for someone who doesn't believe in a God judging them to be an ethical person. In my opinion, a higher being or authority forcing you to be good, rather than you coming to that conclusion yourself, is actually a lower form of morality. As Albert Einstein sums up nicely, if people are good only because they fear punishment and hope for reward, then we are a sorry lot indeed. In short, I don't believe that there is a God, and I don't believe that there is a prime mover. I believe that the universe is self-contained, and that no being or force outside of it created it. I believe that the laws of physics and mathematics are a better guide than the other explanations we have. People fear this idea because they're afraid it removes meaning and guidance, and they fear this will result in anarchy and an amoral society. I believe we should not only not be afraid of this, we should celebrate it because it frees us to find our own meaning, blaze our own trails, and will actually result in a society with a higher caliber of ethics. So in essence, I'm an atheist.
My friend Sophie has been coming to CEC since she was 2 years old. Instead of writing her credo, she wanted to do something different. She wants to present her religious beliefs in a visual way. Also, please note that in the program there is no dot after the 2015 in the URL.